Hello, everybody, and welcome to Zeus Angel Mystic Tarot. Happy Valentine's Day. How are you guys all doing? So, today the chat is open for subscribers who have a burning, yearning question that they'd like to ask the tarot. And, of course, questions that are not about health or legal. Okay. What's going on? Hello there. Pretty in pink. How are you? Happy Valentine's Day. This is a very special Valentine's Day because we are about to have an eclipse happening on the 17th, right when the fire horse energy picks up. So, and we have a Mercury retrograde on the 26th of February. So there's a lot that's going on. Oh, wow. All right, let's get into it. We already have a question in the chat. What are Jay's hidden thoughts and feelings towards me? No contact. Okay. So I do have a question for you. This person that you're in no contact with, were you in a relationship together? Just a little backstory, if you don't mind. If not, that's okay. Um, this will help me understand when I'm reading a little more. Were you in a relationship together? Were you just friends? Do they know how you feel? That will help me understand what's going on. Let me get a good shuffle in. Pretty in Pink wants to know, what are Jay's hidden feelings, thoughts, and feelings? Why are they hidden? Okay, let's see. No contact. No, we're just spoken romantically. You've just spoken romantically. Okay. All right. So you weren't together officially. You've just spoken romantically. Did you tell them how you feel? Okay, so let's see what the tarot has to say about Jay's hidden thoughts and feelings. All right, let's see. In no contact. How does this person feel about Pretty in Pink right now, right now? How does this person feel about Pretty in Pink right now, right now? Oh, Queen of Cups. That's a good sign. Nine of Swords. We're going to pull 3 cards. What's hidden? So Queen of Cups and the Nine of Swords lets me know that there's some level of emotion this person has. Can you tell me what sign they are? Are they a water sign? Are they an air sign? Queen of Cups. So there are some feelings here. Queen of Cups is a psychic. So the Queen of Cups could very well be you. I don't know what the signs are here, but I like the Queen of Cups. I do think there's some level of anxiety this person suffers. Is this person religious? Because in this deck, the Nine of Swords has crosses on it. You see the crosses? I don't know if they're religious or not, if they're spiritual. And then we have the Five of Swords in reverse. He's a Gemini. Oh, well, that explains why there's a lot of air sign here. So that lets me know that this Queen of Cups is probably you. Are you a water sign? Cancer, Pisces, Scorpio. I do think there's some level of feelings here. However, the Nine of Swords lets me know that this person's okay. The Nine of Swords can be seen as one of two things. Okay, it's religious persecution, negative thoughts in the mind space, some level of cruelty. So this person is suffering, and I don't know exactly what. So this is his hidden thoughts and feelings. He could have anxiety, but if he's an air sign, um, air signs just do that. They think a lot, right? And so I don't know if this person's religious or not, but I think that he could have some anxiety. Sometimes the Nine of Swords talks about their reputation, if they're considering their reputation, but we also have the Five of Swords in reverse. So I don't really like that. That would let me know that there's some level of self protection that this person was trying to have. And because the Five of Swords in the reverse is, to me, some level of not wanting to play mind games. If they were playing mind games, or if there was some level of protection that they had in regards to their mental space, because the Five of Swords in the upright is someone who goes to extreme length to protect themselves. So this person is in self-preservation mode. The Nine of Swords could let me know that they think that whatever you had is over potentially, because the nines usually mark an ending and the fives usually represent severity. So this person is suffering a little bit in silence. And the Five of Swords in reverse is it's a better position to have the Five of Swords in reverse, because it lets me know that they're trying to overcome something in their mind space. It could be mental conflict or mental anguish that this person is going through. I don't know. Is this person religious? You're a Capricorn. Um, it's not necessarily saying that they're missing you, because I feel like this person is suffering in their mind space, right? And potentially with, I want to see why that Five of Swords in reverse is there. Three of Swords, this person feels rejected. I'm not going to lie. I think this person, I don't know if they feel rejected by you. I think this person is more concerned with their own thoughts and their own feelings of hurt. Three of Swords. And the Five of Swords, like I said, the Five of Swords in reverse is someone who's trying to overcome some sort of mental conflict or feelings of self-preservation, right? Because I don't know, I just feel like this person maybe wasn't the most straightforward or honest with you, and I think that they're feeling some kind of guilty conscience about maybe how they, I don't know, how they acted, because the Five of Swords, like I said before, the Five of Swords is um kind of having to defeat the enemy or something like that. So I don't know. This person is hurting, but I don't know if they're necessarily missing you in so more as maybe feeling either guilty, some level of remorse, some level of anxiety, potentially feeling rejected by you actually with the Three of Swords. So I hope that helps. I mean, I think they view you as the Queen of Cups. So yeah, I think they're probably missing you a little bit. I mean, I feel like they could feel rejected by you and thinking that it's over is what I'm hearing potentially. I don't know, they could feel played to some degree with the Five of Swords reverse. They could feel played and hurt. I'm not gonna lie to you. I don't know what transpired between the two of you. But I don't know if they're religious or not, because there's some sort of like potentially feeling like there's some sort of persecution going on. So I think this person is mentally tormented. That's what I'm gonna say. Missing you potentially, but I think more feeling rejected and hurt. This person is in mental anguish. That's what I'm picking up on. And I don't know if it's because of you or if it's just because they have a lot of thoughts in their head. They have a lot of anxiety. I mean, that's kind of the air sign way. They're really showing up in their head. See the Three of Swords. They feel a little hurt and rejected. Yeah, he probably is. He's definitely hurt. Well, if he did you wrong, that's probably why this Five of Swords is in reverse, because I think that they know that they played mind games. I think they hurt themselves in hurting you. That's what I'm going to say. I think they're feeling nervous or anxious, or I think they're definitely in regret about what went down. And the Five of Swords in reverse lets me know that that there was some level of mind games or some level of them acting in a sort of selfish, underhanded way, and they know that. And I do feel like they hurt themselves in hurting you, because the Five of Swords is in reverse, and that to me is like I don't want to play mind games anymore, and I'm hurting now. So they hurt themselves in the process, and they see you as the Queen of Cups, whether you're a Capricorn, whatever. They see you here as offering giving of emotion, being very emotional, or being very like loving, and they themselves are tormented. So yeah, I hope that helps. Wow, they're tormented for sure. And I also feel like this could also be you. I think they feel some level of guilt for hurting you, because I'm seeing the masculine energy here is in the Five of Swords is in reverse, and that's the masculine energy here. So there's some level of persecution going on with themselves, within themselves, for this Three of Swords, Queen of Cups energy hurting you. So yeah, they probably are. I think they're more stressed about what they did. Yikes. I'm sorry, dear, but I hope that helps. I hope that helps. You're welcome. Oh boy, I don't know what went down between the two of you, but that Five of Swords in reverse lets me know that even if they're not necessarily like owning up to it, they know what they did. That's for sure. So, anyone else in the comment section, feel free, put your question out there. We've got the room for 2 hours, so and I'm just going to do a collective reading until someone pops into the chat with a question. Okay, guys? We're using the Tarot of the Abyss today because I was using the Tarot of Sexual Magic, right? Because it's Valentine's Day, but I can't show those cards on here because there's a lot of nudity. So we're using this deck, which I love. I love this deck, and it's great, and it's beautiful. All right, so I'm just going to get a collective vibe check their feelings until the question pops into the chat. All right, let's see. Whew. Happy Valentine's Day, those of you who celebrate, and if you don't, that's okay too. All right, so let's get the collective's energy. Chat is open for questions. Let's get the collective check-in for the collective, their person's feelings. Ooh, wow. Okay, so there's a lot going on. Wheel of Fortune and the Tower. This is crisis moment. Okay, so things have changed between the collective and whoever it is that they were talking to. There's a change, and you guys, I was saying this before, right when I popped on here, that we're about to enter an eclipse on the 17th of February, and it's a new moon. Eclipses are new moons, and that lets me know that there's some feeling of newness in the air, some feeling of change in the air, especially because it's going to be, I think that's going to be in Pisces actually. And then that day also marks the first day of the fire horse energy. So the feelings of stagnancy, all that, the shedding of the snake, we're done with that. And there's a change in the air. The Wheel of Fortune is a major change, okay? And I feel like the collective is definitely feeling the Tower, okay? The Tower is divine intervention. The Tower is Scorpio energy. These two cards together, major arcana, represent significant change. And it doesn't have to be an external change. It can be an internal change because the Tower can sometimes be realizations, like a sudden realization, a way of being, right? And so in other words, a lot of you guys could have a change in your living situation, or there could have been a major destructive cataclysmic event that happened in your love life with the Tower. You know, divine intervention knocks the Tower down. But the story behind the Tower goes back to the Tower of Babel, and it was a tower that was elected for some sort of religious purposes, and the thing is that God or whatever, as the story goes, knocked the tower down because God did not want that there. And that is how I see the Tower. The Tower are those cataclysmic moments in our lives, even if it's just that I no longer see things that way anymore. The realization that is something that's divine intervention. It's meant to happen. So if something gets destroyed, there is something else that is going to be built in its place. I really see the Tower as a wrecking ball, like that song by Miley Cyrus, Wrecking Ball, because it's destroying something that was dilapidated. And then on that ground, we build something stronger. We build something better. And it's revitalizing with this change, this divine change. This is a long time coming. And then we have the Tower, or this 10 of Wands. So to me, that is like change and destruction of something that was heavy. So I do feel like the collective is going to feel a lot lighter starting the 17th, potentially to the March. And when I talk about the collective, that is everyone in it. Okay. So there is some kind of weight being lifted here in our love lives, or just in the way that we conduct ourselves. Let's see why the Tower is there. And then I want to see the person who surrounds the collective right now. We'll see who surrounds the collective. Okay, so the tower is there. Um, a lot of the collective are waking up to the realization that they were connecting with free spirits. You know, the Knight of Wands does a lot. The Knight of Wands has, it's a Sagittarius energy. You know, they have all of this carefree energy and they come in and it's amazing and it's fun and it's carefree and it's free spirited. But this is a realization that that's not something that's meant to last. Okay, so I just think that the collective is waking up to situationships and realizing potentially that that's not what they want anymore. And then the Eight of Pentacles, like potentially this isn't going to work. The Eight of Pentacles really talks about mastering your craft. And when we talk about Eight of Pentacles in the context of love, that's really mastering the art of love. And this is like a sweet talker here, someone who talks about doing the work, someone who talks about putting it in, but they can't deliver on that promise. So, and that is sort of a heavyweight with the collective here. Also, the Hermit, we're dropping this Hermit energy. We were in the year of the Hermit, the year of the Snake, and it's going to be ending on the 17th here. And also, that's like you've learned the lesson, because the Hermit is God energy in the tarot. And, you know, this woman is holding the snake, and we're dropping the snake because we've learned that lesson. So, no more shedding. We're coming out, you know, Four of Wands. Yeah, I just feel like there is a return to a return to enjoyment instead of this heaviness. Four of Wands is a celebration. The Four of Wands can be in an engagement here, but it's also a celebration. So I just feel like we're coming out of our shells and we're gonna go out to play heavily, and that's good. I mean, to be able to want to have a long-term relationship, but also want to have fun. That's kind of what I'm getting here. So, how is the collective person feeling? So, some of you guys are feeling like you're dropping the dead weight in regards to something or someone here, or you're dropping the heaviness, dropping the burdens, and like realizing, okay, that person, you know, our vibe just didn't match. They were here today, gone tomorrow. They were a future picker. They didn't see things long term. And that's okay. I'm just gonna release that and I'm gonna have fun until my person comes in. Yeah, see, wisdom. We've gained the wisdom. 2025 brought us a lot of the collective, a lot of heartache, right? Whenever we talk about love matters, we always have to talk about the Ten of Swords. And this Ten of Swords isn't about betrayal. This Ten of Swords isn't a man being stabbed in the back or a woman being stabbed in the back. This is about wisdom. This is about transmuting pain and learning from the mistakes. The Hermit is God. The Hermit has an inner knowing, learns the lessons, and applies them, right? Like the man and the owl here. The owl is our ancestors. The snake is change. The owl is our ancestors guiding us, saying, ouch, that really hurt. What can I learn from that? And how can I use that to better my relationship? So some of you, the people that you are connecting to also are hurting, or also are realizing that, you know, potentially there's an ending here. The Ten of Wands mark the ending and the beginning. It's the finalization, because we're stepping into the 10, the 17th. I've been saying it all year. If you've seen any of my live, I've been saying it all year. 2026 is a year number 10, but it's also a year number 1. So these are the 10s. So it's the ending and the beginning. It's the wrapping up. It's like the closure after the heartbreak. It's like the, okay, that hurt a lot. And it really is over, maybe. But now I can step into something new and I can have fun again. So that's kind of what I'm seeing here. And as far as like whoever is surrounding you, they're probably feeling the same way. Some lesson learned, some ancestral wisdom coming in. I love that. Okay, our ancestors are guiding us through the pain, through the transition, and helping to drop some of the heaviness of holding on to the pain of a relationship that didn't go the way we wanted it to. Okay, or just the heaviness of the year, whether or not this is even love. Okay, so that's the collective energy. hopefully you guys are learning, we're all learning the lessons, and we're all, you know, learning something, having a teachable moment at the ending, at the pain. I can't wait until we're on. I can't wait for the 17th. I can't wait for that energy. The Five of Pentacles. So I definitely feel like the collective potentially feels abandoned or left out, or the fives are severity, the fives are struggle. Okay, and the Five of Pentacles, I know a lot of people are feeling the pinch when it comes to finances here, so there could be a realization that there needs to be a focus on that, and that there's freedom in being able to support yourself and not kind of engage in the folly of romance that goes nowhere. Right, the Knight of Wands can come in and be very charming, but what do they really provide? What do they really offer? It's a kind of just fun for now. And now the wisdom that we've gained will allow us to come out of this abandoned feeling abandoned, feeling the lack mindset. So potentially focusing on being able to support yourself, maybe healing abandonment wounds, right? Five of Pentacles. Somebody could have left you out in the cold. And what is that teaching you? There's justice. The justice in this deck is so interesting. Because I think eye for an eye. So, but I don't think that's what's happening here, right? We don't need revenge. We just need wisdom. What did it teach you? And don't self-abandon. Now's not the time to self-abandon because your ancestors are always there. So justice, I love that. Okay. This is Libra energy. Libra is the sign of relationships and it's balance. And I think that's potentially part of the lesson here. Maybe that we're going to be, the collective will be pursuing relationships differently in the future. One where you're not self-abandoning, where you're not attaching yourself to a relationship where you're carrying most of the weight with the Ten of Wands. And so I love that, right? The Justice card. Balancing. She's got like the look on her eyes is like, oh man, I'm not going to do that again. I don't want to do that again. Justice. Harmony, justice. King of Swords. There is this sense of the King of Swords is very, very cold and detached, but they're very, very, very intellectual. So I know a lot of the signs, a lot of the collective, a lot of the people out there are maybe taking a more detached approach to love. Because the King of Swords is very smart, is very knowledgeable, but they remain detached and they don't wear their heart on their sleeve. So I feel like the collective maybe is not wearing their heart on their sleeve so much. I'm not seeing any cups here at all. I'm seeing wands, I'm seeing pentacles, that could be the change that's coming in here. And we talk about loving without attachment and maybe having more head over heart decisions. So, and if this is about a person around you, I definitely feel like somebody feels abandoned and they feel a sense of justice in detaching, or you do, right? Because the Tower came in and let you know the realization of this foundation that's crumbling. Potentially a move for some of you. And then we have the Queen of Swords. So we have the King of Swords and the Queen of Swords. So I do feel like in a lot of the sign readings that I've been doing, there's this energy of mirroring each other, the King and the Queen of Swords. They're both the divorcee. And so I think there's a sense of mirroring each other, like closing off to this and really just being like, I need to have a very masculine and logical approach right now, head over heart, because I've been really hurt. And that is potentially going to be a block to any new relationships or current relationships that you're in, because the Queen and the King of Swords aren't lovey-dovey. There's no cups, there's no emotions. They use their mind. That's it. And the Queen of Swords, like I said, is a divorcee. So there potentially is some like bitterness, or potentially is some like, I'm not giving into the situation. I'm not gonna wear my heart on my sleeve anymore because I don't want to be abandoned. I've learned that lesson. And I'm not gonna be the one to carry the weight of a relationship. Equal give and take or nothing. That's the justice. So there's really no cups here. What's in the feelings and the hearts and the minds of the collective? Ooh, Nine of Pentacles in reverse. There's a bird on there. Birds, if you see birds, it's confirmation. Nine of Pentacles and the Ten of Pentacles. So right now, I feel like this is that energy of forget love, get money, right? And I just think that with the collective, whoever you have in your heart and mind right now, you're probably matching each other's vibe, right? That's it. The King and the Queen of Swords, they ignore each other. And the Nine of Pentacles in reverse is some level of financial sacrifice. The Nine of Pentacles spends money, like making huge purchases, and the Ten of Pentacles here lets me know that there is some sense of thinking about your legacy or your reputation and wanting to just make money, maybe because you spent a lot of money going on dates, or maybe there was some financial codependency going on, or maybe you had to make large purchases and now you have to think about your legacy. Now you have to think about um maybe this provider mindset, like if they're not paying for my bills, if they're not doing this or doing that for me, that's it. It's more of a superficial view. Okay, so I do feel like a lot of the signs got really hurt in 2025 and now have a more superficial view on relationships and are trying to focus on reputation, legacy, and really just walling off, closing off, not wanting to feel abandoned, not wanting to feel broke either. I'm just going to be real, you guys. That's what I'm seeing here in this reading. Okay, Nine of Pentacles in reverse. And I don't know if sometimes I see that as somebody who is shopping to kind of fill the void or spending money to fill the void, or Nine of Pentacles in reverse is someone who doesn't manage their finances. So a lot of the signs are maybe trying to get smarter about your finances, about your money, and who's going to support me in the long term. I see the Ten of Pentacles as asking for support. They're holding hands here, and that's good. That's not a bad way to be. There could be an inheritance for some of you. All right. I don't like the Nine of Pentacles in reverse necessarily, but sometimes if you're just like, you know what, I'm gonna do me. But the Nine of Pentacles in reverse, some people could say that as not feeling like you're in your dependent. There's some level of codependency here, you guys. I'm not gonna lie, okay? There's some level of codependency, financial or otherwise. And because it's like I'm not feeling independent or like I can support myself right now. Page of Cups and the Lovers. So there's the love. It's really buried underneath all of this because I feel like there's some real world priorities going on with the collective, especially if it's the Nine of Pentacles in reverse. Like, I don't feel financially independent right now. So there's the Lovers and the Page of Cups. It's kind of buried underneath all of this stuff. It's buried underneath all of it. And the Lovers is having to make a choice in love. The Lovers is about decisions and choices, and it's about long term values and alchemizing, right? But then we have it next to the Page of Cups. So, I mean, the Page of Cups, the pages are always messengers. Some of you, there could be an age difference in a love relationship, past, present, future. But I love the Lovers in this deck because it's like planting roots. It's making a decision about love where I need to find someone who I can have a partnership with, plant roots with, maybe even start a business with, where we support each other financially. So there's some level of thinking codependent financially in regards to your love life. Okay, so just be careful with that, some of you. But also potentially that, I don't know, the Page of Cups can sometimes be an apology or a new lover here. Let's see, why is that there? Maybe you're going to meet someone new. The Temperance. Okay. I sometimes see this as an apology. I don't know. This is a very intense bond. There's a lot of chemistry here. It's a relationship that you want to go the distance. So for some of you, I don't know, because I'm seeing the Tower is like, I just want equal give and take. I don't want to get hurt anymore. I want a relationship that goes somewhere. So there could be some level of healing something for those of you that are connected, right? Because there's a lot of chemistry here. And the temperance does recognize contradictions, right? Like, I feel the heaviness of this relationship. I want things to change. I've learned some type of lessons here, and but I want something that goes the distance. Maybe I need to swallow my pride and apologize. But it's still not very lovey-dovey. Even though we have the lovers here, it's like recognizing that there needs to be some level of uh healing, or some level of swallowing the pride, or some level of I need to apologize, right? The temperance here is healing with another person because we have the two of cups on there. And sometimes I see that as I want a relationship that lasts, that there's a lot of chemistry with, but maybe I need to start out as friends. So I don't know. You guys are all on different timelines here. And there's still that Ace of Pentacles. There's still that feeling of practicality and planning roots here. Heavy with the planning roots. So a lot of you guys are looking for someone that you can commingle your finances with, that it's going to go somewhere where together we can support each other and have a partnership, right? That's what I see with the 10 of Pentacles, planting the seeds. So some of you are making shifts in career focus as well, and you're thinking about, like, love is in the back seat. Love's in the back seat. How can I support myself here? Will love support me, or will it take away from me? So it still is kind of head over heart, but realizing if there is a relationship, that there needs to be some amends that are made here. And we still have to focus on real world values. Interesting. Ace of Pentacles. And I love that because the Ace of Pentacles is like an offer or a gift from the universe, right? And here there's a tree, there's a lady there planting the tree, planting the seeds. So some of you guys could be learning about how to harmonize in a relationship, and realizing that there has to be some level of apology or some level of planting roots together for it to last. Oh, okay. Hello. What does that say? Gordon still loves me. Okay. So I do feel like I will answer your question. I do feel like the collective is trying to harmonize with lovers where it's going to go the distance. And there's some blending of love and money is what I'm seeing here. All right. So you want to know if this person still loves you? No contacts. You guys, we're going to be in a retrograde on the 26th. And this is a retrograde in Pisces. So it could be very emotional. It could be like reminiscing about someone and maybe like crying a little bit about it. Oh, okay. So I'm trying to look at what your name is here in the chat. I have, is it Sabina? I've seen you here before. Sabina. So first thing I'm seeing is that this person feels as though it's over. The death card. Do they still love me? Let's see. Does this person still love Sabina? So I have the Death and the Two of Pentacles. It's not very lovey-dovey. I'm not saying no. There is let me get one more card, because I feel like this person goes back and forth in their feelings. I'll show you the cards in a minute. The Chariot. Do you guys live at a distance? We have the Death card, the Two of Pentacles. This person goes back and forth with how they feel. And then we have the Chariot. Do you guys live far away from each other? This person feels like it's over, and I think they're moving on. Do they still love you? I think this person's not sure about their feelings, because the Two of Pentacles is like, some days they feel like they care about you, other days they're thinking about moving on. Okay. There's a lot of uncertainty in this person's feelings. This person is in between two realities right now. So I think this person's confused about how they feel. I'm not saying yes, I'm not saying no. I think this person's confused. I think they're focusing on their money right now. I think they feel as though they need to focus on their money right now. They think it's over. Are you guys live at a distance? His true feelings is he's confused and that he thinks it's over and that he's focusing on his money. I don't know if there's a lot of distance between you. So that's his true feelings. It's really surface level. I think I think you're dealing with someone who has a lot going on in his life, and I think he's focusing on his practicality, his real world practicality. So, does he still love you? Yeah, I think that there's some feelings there underneath it, but I don't think that they're thinking about it. I think they're trying to stay busy to not focus on it, because they think it's over, or they think that you've moved on, or there's distance between you. Okay, the chariot to me, this person is not sitting to think about their feelings because they have some things that they're doing in their reality. Okay, the chariot is someone who puts their feelings behind them so they can make some kind of momentum in their life. So I don't think that I think that they're keeping busy to distract themselves from their feelings because potentially they feel like it's over with the death card. That's what their true feelings are. So I don't think they're giving themselves a lot of time to think about it. I think that they're distracting themselves. And I think that they're very confused in their feelings. So some days they probably miss you, and other days they're not focusing on it, right? With the chariot. That's their true feelings. I hope that helps. Do they live at a distance? What's their sign? Are they Scorpio? Are they Cancer? Two of Pentacles could be Earth sign. I think they're thinking about work. I think that's what they're focusing on, especially if it's at a distance. Because the chariot could be like maybe they're trying to save up money to buy a new car or go on a trip or something like that. But it's like they're putting their feelings behind them to make some kind of momentum in their life. You're welcome. Yeah, I hope that helps you. Death, two of Pentacles, and the chariot. Yeah, they're definitely focusing on their money. I don't know if they're Earth sign, if they're a water sign. Maybe they have both in their chart, you know. I don't know. Where's everyone at? It takes a while for people to get notified. Honestly, you guys, I can't wait for February 17th. I can't wait for that eclipse, new moon eclipse. I can't wait for that fire horse energy. I'm so tired of the snake. I want the 10. I want the newness. I don't know about y'all, but I want some new love coming in. New for all of you guys. For everybody. How many of you guys are celebrating on Valentine's Day? Sabina, is that your name? Are you going to do something today for Valentine's Day? I don't know where you are in the world. There is definitely a lot of people out having coffee and going to restaurants, and there's lots of events going on. If you guys are celebrating Valentine's Day, do you have a favorite Valentine's Day treat? I don't really, not for me, I don't. I know, you know what? There is a history of Valentine's Day. I don't know if you guys know what the history of Valentine's Day is, but it's actually kind of a sad one. It was really, and I try to like remember the whole story, but I think Valentine's, the person that this day was named after, was separated from his love, and I think that they named a day after him and his love, Valentine's Day. So actually, Valentine's Day is sort of sad because it's about somebody being separated from their love. Somebody being separated from their love. And yeah, that's kind of sad. I don't know. Valentine's Day. I don't know where the heart came from, because I always talk about this on here, you guys. We don't love from our hearts. Our heart pumps blood. All of the love that we have comes from our mind, our brain. So instead of hearts, we should really have brains everywhere because that's where we love from. Our minds, our brains. Definitely not from our hearts. Our hearts just pump the blood. That's for sure. Okay, so back to the collective. We have the Six of Cups and the Two of Cups. So, like I said before, Mercury retrograde starts on the 25th, right after we have that new moon eclipse. And the Mercury retrograde is in Pisces this year. So it's going to be a sappy, dreamy, Neptune. And here we already have the Six of Cups. I associate the Six of Cups with Mercury retrograde because it's heavy in contemplation, heavy with reminiscences. And so you're going to be thinking about love a lot. I mean, yes, it's Valentine's Day, but we're talking about retrograde coming up on the 25th. So a lot of you guys are going to be thinking about relationships that almost came to be or crushes on your friends, right? I love this Two of Cups in this deck because it's the mermaids and their tail. And this is water sign energy. This is a Mercury retrograde in a water sign. Two mermaids entangling together. So there is a lot of thinking and contemplating about embracing and about connecting on this retrograde. And I do love that. So some of you guys could be thinking about making more connections during this retrograde. Six of Cups. The sixes also represent beauty, and it's where God and Buddha hang out on in the number 6 in numerology. Twos always represent the duality, right? And it's choices and decisions. And to me, this is like, should we be friends or should we be more? This is that, like, we almost had it all. And then I have the Eight of Cups. Yeah, this is definitely, the feelings have been neglected here a little bit because when I see the Eight of Cups, I definitely see that as not dealing with emotions, leaving a situation. So some of you guys are thinking about a friends with benefits type of situation or someone that you had to leave or potentially someone who really did not deal with issues because the Eight of Cups can be someone who neglects situations, who ignores feelings, things like that. It's very retrograde energy, very thinking about the lover that you had to leave behind, thinking about the friend that you fell for that who didn't acknowledge their feelings, somebody who gave up. The Seven of Wands in reverse, I can see that as one of two things. I can see that as somebody who is trying to lower their guard, but also somebody who who gave up too soon, who didn't fight for love. There's this sense of reminiscing about a love that almost was to be, or a friends with benefits situation here with someone who didn't fight for the love. And the Seven of Wands in reverse, if this is a masculine, this is like, now listen, I'm quoting Mary Bogart, Seven of Wands reverse, a mama's boy or somebody who isn't used to having to put in the work to fight for something. But it's kind of a weak mentality here. Okay. So I feel like some of you guys are thinking about a love where they didn't fight for it, they didn't put up a good defense, or there was a lot of guardedness here, and are potentially trying to let down your guard as well with the Seven of Wands in reverse. Like maybe you just don't want to fight anymore, you know, you don't want to be on guard. It's like that like, oh man, I just wish that we could get along now. I just wish that we didn't always have to dance around the subject, or the elephant in the room here is that I feel triggered potentially, guys. Ooh, the devil. There's the devil. And the devil is also breaks down to the number 6, which is the lovers, right? But the Six of Cups, the devil. So the devil, let's see why that's there. Now, the devil can be anything that comes between us. The devil can be insecurity. It can be addiction. It's our dark night of the soul, but it's also lust, right? And We have a heart here. I love how this is like there's this person here and is kind of wrapped up, but the heart is here. And it's almost like being bonded to love because of lust or something like that, potentially. Why is the devil here? Anything that we're bonded to is the devil. But it also gets a bad rap, like I said before, because it is the number 6, which in numerology, the number 6 is the number of beauty. It's where God and Buddha hang out. 6, beauty, harmony. And it breaks down in numerology, it breaks down to 6. And I think what I'm seeing here with the devil, the 9 of cups, and the 7 of cups is a little bit of obsession and a little bit of limerence, right? But still kind of feeling self-fulfilled by something when it's very, very retrograde. 6 of cups, 7 of cups, this is limerence. It's like I'm still in an independent vibe, or there's somebody or someone that I was wishing for here. And I'm still thinking about it in a very like kind of limerence sort of way. So the heart is still bonded, but in the reality, it's like you're not together, or somebody kind of gave up on it, right? There could be a lot of lust, because the devil can sometimes be obsessively thinking in limerence about someone here that you really wished for. And it could have been someone who you just had a friendship with, or friends with benefits, or a friendship crush, or someone who walked away, someone who really gave up on the love. So this is kind of be careful, because this is like obsessively romanticizing something that maybe isn't so healthy, or maybe won't ever go anywhere. I see this a lot with the collective, reminiscing, romanticizing the ex, romanticizing someone who didn't fight for the love, romanticizing someone who didn't fight for the love that you had, or that you were willing to give here. The devil can really come in and mess things up. And I feel like sometimes the collective really just doesn't want to recognize that it was just lust, and that's okay. There's nothing wrong with that. But then we get attached to it, and we romanticize, and we obsessively think about what could have been, and you don't see the reality. That's the 7 of cups is fantasy land. It's deluding yourself into believing that there could have been more with someone, when maybe there wasn't anything there at all. But sometimes it's more fun to fantasize about someone than actually the reality is, man, they really hurt me. Man, they really broke me. Man, they really just left me there. Man, they really gave up. They just dodged my calls. They just avoided me. They just acted single. And here we are in the Fool energy. We're going to be in this Fool energy, okay? This 10 of Swords is the end of tormenting yourself. So I don't know. I feel like this retrograde is really going to be pushing a lot of buttons for people, because you're reminiscing a lot about something that could have been, like I like that Adele song, we could have had it all. But could you really have had it all? When the devil and the 10 of swords shows up, to me, that's like, no, I just feel like this is something that you're ruminating about obsessively, when in reality, it's time to have a new beginning, the Fool. And we're going to be in the Fool energy in April, because this is Aries energy, end of March, April. All right. So potentially you could be ready to start new, or to meet new, and to let go of obsessively ruminating or thinking about someone where there was really just lust there. Putting an end to that. Okay. Putting an end to it. And then in the Fool energy, I love the Fool. Okay. Because the Fool is just looking at things from a very fresh perspective, and it's just ready to go on the adventure. Of course, there's always that warning there, like, make sure you look before you leap. I try not to get too attached to someone just out of lust, and wearing rose-colored glasses here, allowing our fantasies to guide us, to have us fall asunder. So yeah, but I do feel like the collective, we get into the limerence a lot with the collective. But stop and smell the flowers. Stop and smell the flowers and enjoy being independent right now, because somebody who gave up on something here is not meant to be. But you can't stop yourself from fantasizing about it, and that's fine as long as that's all it is, as long as it doesn't bring a lot of discomfort, right? With the Ten of Swords there, feeling betrayed, you know, Nine of Cups and the Fool. I don't see anyone in the chat there. I might just end this live early. Yeah, I might just end this live early. I don't like this spread here. We have the Seven of Swords and the Wheel of Fortune. But I do feel like the collective is changing the type of people that they connect with. Seven of Swords, you know, the Seven of Swords is somebody here who tries to get away with something, but it's also avoidant. So there could be a change in the collective, not dating people who are avoidant, not dating people who are, you know, the sneaky links here, and to not fall into the limerence or the rose-colored glasses type of thinking. Eight of Swords. Yeah, because Eight of Swords and the Devil, and it's just like obsessively beating yourself up about someone who could have gaslit you and still feeling some level of bondedness or attachment because of lust. So you really have to be careful with that, okay? Because you could take that to the extremes with like negative self-talk because of a sneaky link or someone who gave up. So it's like wanting to romanticize the bad things that happen because it hurts too much to admit that somebody was really just trying to get away with something, right? And the collective does that a lot with tarot, is that they want to romanticize something, obsessively trying to fantasize some type of gaslighting or sneaky link type of energy. And I don't like that, okay? So just be careful with that during this retrograde, to not allow yourself to romanticize some type of gaslighting or sneaky behavior with someone. And just try to learn the lessons and try not to take that with you on this next journey, because there's an adventure here. There's a journey away in love that awaits you. You guys, I'm tired and I'm surprised there aren't more people here in the chat, but that's okay. I'll do more of these free questions. I always say I'm going to end the live, and then there's people who pop in at the last minute. So I'm going to give this a few more minutes, and then I'm going to end the live. I got to charge my phone. But I hope that you guys have a good Valentine's Day, regardless of sneaky links or sneaky behavior or heartbreak or whatever. Hopefully you can step into that fool energy, play the fool again for love, but not in a naive type of way. In a, I'm ready to go on the adventure and risk my heart. I think a lot of you guys are going to have a new career coming in, or blessings in your career. Actually, 2026, I think there's some kind of transit with Jupiter in Cancer or something like that. So that is positive for all the signs to potentially make more money than you've made in the past. There's a focus on that. Ooh. So we have the High Priestess and the Five of Wands. The Five of Wands reversed. I do feel like a lot of the signs are tired of fighting. And there is the emphasis on transmuting pain here. And there is a lot of emphasis on the collective having the awareness, because the High Priestess is the sacred knowledge, but they don't need to communicate. They just have the knowledge. They know that there is something that maybe isn't worth fighting for anymore, but there's also some level of overcoming internal conflict with themselves, with yourselves, with ourselves, overcoming some kind of internal conflict and learning the lessons, transmuting the pain, right? What did you learn? What did the pain teach you? I say that all the time on here. What did the pain teach you? To not fight battles that aren't worth fighting. And there's some kind of level of harmonizing. Like, you hold the key, right? I think that a lot of the collective has a lot of knowledge to the people that they're connecting with. They just don't always want to have that realization. Maybe they don't always want to admit to themselves that they know the truth already. But that's okay. The High Priestess knows things. They know things. There's a deep inner knowing here. And a lot of you guys who come and watch tarot do have a lot of, intuition, psychic abilities, strong intuition, Pisces energy. And so use that to your advantage. I'm tired, you guys, and I'm surprised there's only 2 questions in the chat. That's okay. I will do this again in the future. Okay, if there's no more questions, I'm going to end the live there. I really hope that you guys have an amazing Valentine's Day. And if you haven't, hit the like button, subscribe, like, comment, share, all that jazz. And hit the notification icon. This way you'll know when I go live and get your free question in. All right, I'll see y'all later. Happy Valentine's Day.